And this is the first driver out of the pits, reserve driver Wizard of Oz, driving for McLaren today. And T4 Big Salty Cracker also leaving the pit lane right now. Wizard was the first person to come across the line and start his lap, and behind him was Big Salty Cracker. And here he comes now across the line to be the first person to set his lap time, and it's a 1:29.816. Can Big Salty Cracker beat that as he comes up to the line now, currently in 6th, about to set his lap time, and he comes in 2nd place with a 1:30.193. And we also look at Kingspin now, comes across the line to start his lap. Got mistaken there. Sharky Boy comes across, but he's got an invalidated lap time currently. As we look now back at Wizard of Oz, back to Big Salty Cracker, and then at NXR Apple there, and then got Mark Moreno. As he's come across, he set a purple sector 2 for the time being. Let's see if he can put himself at the top of the timetables. As we look, we have yellow flags down here as Apple pulls out of the way to let him go through. And up to the line now is going to be Mark Moreno, setting his debut in DRZ and puts himself at the top of the table with a 1:29.570. And now we switch over to Apple. And Apple now comes across the line. He's going to put himself at the top of the tables, just beating Mark Moreno by 2 seconds with a 1:27.384, starting his debut with McLaren in a very impressive manner. Now we look at Calba in the Aston Martin, one of the only drivers left to have not set a lap time so far. As we look, he comes into Sector 1. He's done an okay Sector 1, but he's lost control of the car and spins it at the worst point. That's just ruined his chance of getting a lap in, but there is still around 10 minutes left of the session, so he should be alright as he's trying to gain control of the car again, but it's pretty difficult at this point. The temperatures on the car is very high, so he slows down and brakes. Someone else comes by, and he will be having to recover from that and pull back into the pit lane most likely after that. And there's another driver coming by, so he has to stop on the track. I believe that's Apple or Wizard, I'm not sure actually. But yeah, a pretty bad lap for Calba, but it happens. That's just racing. And next we look at Big Salty Cracker, who is currently pushing, I believe, but does not end up actually setting a lap time. He falls into the pits and actually cancels out this lap because he comes across here, sets purple sector 2. However, it looks like it might have just been a glitch in the end, and it was actually worse than his last lap, so he ends up just abandoning the lap and just pulling into the pit lane. And now we look at Kingspin, who's going to be trying to set his first lap of the session now, as he comes through Sector 1. Pretty shaky on the car actually, look, very shaky. Yeah, he comes through, doesn't spin like Calba did, and keeps it steady, locks up there unfortunately, heading into the corner, which will hurt his lap time slightly, but nothing too extreme as he comes through the next section, turns 9 and 10, and he ends up locking up again, as we see the McLaren there passing by, as he keeps on going, trying to set a fastest lap hopefully, and get himself just somewhere in the timetables. Hopefully just not in last place, because that would be quite unfortunate as he comes through now. It's looking pretty quick. It's actually a purple sector 2 there. Very good. And he comes through onto this back straight and heading up to the final corner to set his lap time. And he's just set the lap time. He puts himself P2 in the end. So now with only 2 minutes left in the session, Kingspin is about to come by and set his final lap time, I believe, of the session. Mark pulls into the pit lane, and Wizard of Oz and NXR Apple are on their out laps currently. Other drivers are actually on their laps, and no, Kingspin's pulling into the pit lane. So he's cancelled his lap, and we catch Sharky just going across the racing track here. That might be a penalty of some kind. I'm not sure what the reasoning was. I'll have to ask about him doing that later. And we look, Big Salty Cracker has invalidated his lap time. That is not good for him, unfortunately. That will leave him in P6, I believe, if he does not have enough fuel for another lap. Sharky Boy also slowing down on this straight. There's no one else there. They're just two slow Mercedes. NXR Apple also going slowly, probably just conserve that last bit of fuel. And Wizard of Oz has just started his final lap of the session, as has a few other drivers, I believe. Yeah, here's Wizard of Oz starting his lap, seeing if he can improve, hopefully. But drivers like Mark and Kingspin are staying in the pits for the end of qualifying, which really isn't going to help Mark that much because he needs to improve to stay in touch. And Wizard of Oz improves slightly, coming through Sector 1. And into Sector 2 is pretty clean, pretty decent, as we see both the Mercedes drivers down on the back straight there, on the main straight, sorry. And I think that's Kingspin that's just left the pit lane, but I think it's a bit late to start a lap now, with only 20 seconds left of the session. Anyway, Apple and Wizard of Oz are both coming through, both McLaren drivers pushing as hard as they can, and coming through now for Sector 2. Is it going to be decent enough to improve? It will be. It's a purple again. Every time someone sets a Sector 2, it's a purple, I swear. And we paused for a moment. I'm not sure why, but we come back to it. Qualifying has ended. We're pausing again. I don't know what's wrong with the cameraman here. Definitely not me. Anyway, we come across the line now to complete qualifying for Wizard of Oz, the McLaren driver number 2, or reserve driver, sorry. And he ends up not improving enough to gain any positions. And here's NXR Apple now, P1, locked into P1 no matter what now, as everyone else has finished qualifying. As he comes across the line now to set his first pole position of Season 2 and first pole position with McLaren for DRZ. Very happy news for him, I'm sure. And here we are now. Here's where the race begins. And it's 5 red lights to start the first Season 2 race for DRZ, and it's lights out and away they go. A lot of smoke at the back again, as we see Apple is defending straight away from Kingspin as he's on the attack. It was a good start off the line. Calver's AI is still racing, however they won't be classified for points. Into turn 1, it's pretty clean, no incidents surprisingly. Wizard of Oz is trying to gain positions here. He has gained one on Mark Moreno, who's dropped to 6th. Big Salty Cracker in last place trying to improve, and Kingspin and Apple at the front battling it out. As we look in third place, Sharky Boy is just on his own really, with Calber right behind him, but it's the AI. Wizard of Oz in 5th, trying to chase for the AI. And in 6th is Mark Moreno and Big Salty Cracker coming into turn 7, I believe. Oh, and there's a bit of lock-up there from Mark. As we watch from Big Salty Cracker's point of view, at the chaos happening ahead. And again, lock-ups everywhere. It's very eventful here, as we look in first place and second place have already pulled away. Apple and Kingspin both just pulled away from the rest of the grid. Sharky trying to keep up behind, who has Wizard of Oz right on his tail, and coming in to nearly complete the first lap of the race now. Kingspin goes wide there, off the track slightly. He sets purple Sector 2, but he's still chasing on the coattails of Apple, hopefully trying to get into P1. And now heading into turn 1, he goes onto the grass. It's very intense as he brakes latest and is able to get the move done on Apple, and he takes first place of the Grand Prix now. Apple is demoted to 2nd position and is going to have to chase very closely. I don't remember who gets DRS here, but it's lap 2 and they come into turn 4, I think, and it's very close between these two drivers. And we look at the rest of the pack are all the way back there already, and it's very intense, it's very close. There's Sharky Boy and Wizard of Oz, and Kingspin has been hit, and I'm not sure what happened there. And Wizard of Oz has spun. He's into last place now. Calber's in 6th, Mark Moreno 5th, T4 Big Salty Cracker 4th, 3rd is Sharky, 2nd Kingspin, and 1st is Apple. As everyone is fighting for positions right now, it's very intense and very close. Even the AI is giving everyone a run for their money right now. And there is Mark Moreno himself in the kick Sauber, as we look back at Sharky Boy defending from his teammate and trying to catch up to the front two, but I don't know if that's going to happen at this point, as it looks like he's not in DRS range anymore. Apple has gone completely wide out of that corner, not too sure what happened there, but we look at this straight before we head on to the last corner, and what is this cameraman doing? Okay, I don't know why he keeps pausing it. Definitely wasn't me. Yeah, anyway, let's just go back to the race. So we look at Apple and Kingspin in first and second, fighting for the lead there, with Sharky Boy not too far behind, actually. He might be gaining on the two, but I'm not sure. Anyway, they both go wide into turn one. They're trying their hardest to fight and squabble here without causing the Mercedes drivers to catch up. It looks like it's happening either way, and it looks like Apple has slight damage on his wing, but still manages to get by, and Kingspin just loses it, and thank God he went ghosted there. Otherwise, race would have been over for the both of them, most likely. Mark Moreno spins out of the corner and waits for Wizard of Oz to recover into 6th place. Both are in the mud right now. And we look, Kingspin's down to 4th currently. Sharky is in 2nd and is going to try and give Apple a fight, I reckon. But Big Salty Cracker is right behind his teammate. He might be able to give his teammate a run. And we look here. Apple is still pulling away, actually. So it might just be a battle between the two Mercedes drivers now for who gets 2nd, with Kingspin just right behind the two. And Apple pulls into turn 1, locks up slightly, and it's going to be a pretty intense battle through turn 1. Kingspin is trying his hardest right now. He's recovered to 3rd, but oh no, T4 Big Salty Cracker cuts the corner, and goes through the cone, and we look towards the back. Kingspin is still fighting for 3rd place. It's getting very heated here, as Apple is completely soared away with 1st place. You can really see the damage on his wing. It's not so minor, it seems. Actually might be a bit more intense than I thought. And a big lock-up there from both Mercedes drivers, I think. And it's only lap 4 of this race, and so much has already changed. Mark is in 7th currently, Wizard of Oz being 6th, Calber's AI being 5th, although that won't be counted for points. Kingspin 4th, T4 Big Salty Cracker 3rd, Sharky Boy 2nd, and NXR Apple 1st. And we cut to lap 6 now, and things are getting very intense. Sharky has taken the lead, and it looks like Apple's about to be demoted for 3rd place now. Kingspin into the last corner, getting very heated here. We look on at Big Salty Cracker's point of view. We come back now to the broadcast view, and we see someone's using DRS, and oh my god, I think that's Big Salty there, going really wide. Look more like a spin, but anyway, someone locked up into turn 1. I think that was Apple, and there's more damage, I believe, or debris of some kind. Sharky Boy is currently getting lucky with everyone else squabbling behind him, so he's pulling away with 1st right now. And into turn 4, I think there's Big Salty Cracker there and Kingspin battling still, and it's getting very heated. And we look at NXR Apple is getting even closer to Sharky Boy now. It's getting very, very close. And we look into turn 9 now, and Apple's going to have DRS on the straight, so it looks like Sharky might lose the position. And we look, the field is very spread out at this point, with Mark being really far back due to his spin, and Wizard of Oz DNFing, just retiring in the pit lane due to a mechanical fault, unfortunately. As we look, see Sharky is still pulling away 1st now. Kingspin is actually using all of his ERS right now to pull into 2nd place. Into the last corner, it's going to get very close, but he gets the position done. Apple pulls back, but then he goes for the switchback now onto the straight. He has DRS, and he gets the position very easily. As we see, Kingspin just can't battle anymore. He's out of ERS. Into turn 1 then, it's going to be Sharky leading with NXR Apple 2nd, Kingspin 3rd, T4 Big Salty Cracker 4th, Calber's AI 5th, and Mark Moreno in 6th, pretty far back. We cut now to lap 9, NXR Apple in 2nd. He's battling Sharky 1st into turn 1. He does not go for the move in the end, and here comes Big Salty Cracker, and he hits everyone pretty much. And there's yellow flags there, no safety car, but that's more damage for everyone into turn 1. That was something, and Apple is got smoke coming out of his engine, it looks like, but no, it's just him locking up. But that was something. He falls down to 5th. Mark Moreno in the pit lane, currently switching tyre. I believe. And another big lock up from one of the drivers there. Kingspin and Apple fighting for second. Sharky has pulled off with first right now, and that was purely because his teammate came in like a bowling ball right there. But yeah, now these two are squabbling over second, with both of them having wing damage probably from this incident, and it's looking very intense. Kingspin goes for the move. I think he's got it actually. No, he hasn't. Apple's still fighting, but I think Apple has more wing damage, so he backs out in the end. And now Sharky in first. He goes wide there slightly. And Calva's AI still in fourth, but not really going to care for the AI much. Big Salty Cracker has 10-second time penalty currently to his name. And Sharky pulls into the pit lane now with, I think, who's following him? Everyone's following him into the pit, so it's going to be pit stop mania. And Big Salty Cracker pulls into the pits as well. So let's see what happens. I mean, into the pit lane. Mark has already done his pit stop, so Big Salty Cracker retires from the session. Pulling out of the pits now. Sharky ends up taking first, so he stays there. Kingspin takes second, and Apple's dropped to fourth in the pit lane. That was unfortunate, and I'm not sure what happened there. Mark's still in fifth, but he's right behind Apple. I think Apple was getting a wing change, but I'm not too sure actually. So yeah, this is the current grid order. And now into turn one, Kingspin is going for the move here. Sharky defends very well, and it looks like Sharky keeps a position for the time being, and Kingspin has DRS, so he gets a position into turn 4, and there's contact between the two. Minor contact, so no damage. And looks like Kingspin will keep the lead for the time being, but he has a 3-second penalty, so he's going to have to worry about that, and he locks up there. And now we look, Apple comes into the pit lane again. Only tyres being 2 laps old, but he actually retires from the session, so it's not a good weekend for McLaren or Mercedes at the moment, with one Mercedes driver retiring and both McLaren drivers out of the race now. Kingspin in the lead still, and has actually pulled 4 seconds away, so he will keep first for the time being, with Mark being in fourth right now, and Kingspin taking first and Sharky taking second. As we look, we get a new notification from race control. Final lap will be on lap 20. All drivers will pull into the pits at the end of lap 21, so that will cut the race short by quite the margin, but there is good reasoning. There is only 3 drivers technically racing at this point, and the race has been pretty uneventful as Kingspin pulls away into first currently. And pulling into the pits now is Kingspin. I don't think he's seen the notification. Nobody's told him about the race control saying that the race ends on lap 20. Sharky's going to take lead of the Grand Prix now, and he pulls into the pits for a tyre change, but I don't think he knows. Nobody's told him. So he pulls out of the pit lane now. He's dropped to third. I don't think Mark will just will barely get past him, I think. And he rejoins there to see this Kick Sauber ahead of him. But now Sharky takes lead of the Grand Prix with only 3 laps left. And Calva's AI in second. Obviously we don't count that. So Mark is technically in second place, and Kingspin, is battling for third right now. This is crazy. As we look at our race leader, the cameraman again pausing for no reason. I don't know why the cameraman is so awful. No, it's not me. Well, it is, but sharp. And now we cut to lap 18. Into turn 1, we see Mark's still in second, and in third is Kingspin. But Kingspin goes for the move here and gets DRS as well, using everything he has. And at the moment, Mark just doesn't even deploy. He doesn't bother. There's no point in fighting at this point, and just lets him go. And on pure pace alone, it looks like Kingspin's already got it. He pulls away straight away. It looks like Mark isn't deploying though, and again, what the fuck is the cameraman doing? Oh god. I'm going to try and improve for the next race when it comes to my camera skills, guys. I'm sorry. But, yeah, anyway. The race has been pretty uneventful towards the end. Most drivers are retired, and it just looks like it's a drag to the end now. Who can keep it steady? Will it be Kingspin, or will it be Sharky? Or will Mark be able to pull something together? So we look now going on to lap 19 as he takes the lead. And I don't know what happened to the UI there. It's gone, and there it is again. I think that was just a glitch. Anyway, we look, Mark overtakes Calver's AI. Calver's AI obviously does not know about the race ending either, so he pits for hards. We'll just ignore the AI though. So anyway, Kingspin, 3-second penalty to his name, and Mark behind now, but he's out of the 3-second range, so he's not going to be able to get anything now, so he's just going to stay third pretty much. Again, we take away the UI. I think this is just me intentionally doing this for some reason, but it's caused the game to just completely glitch there. My bad. And now we cut to the kick salvo of Mark in the pit lane, getting a tyre change on the final lap. I think he might have misread race control and pitted a lap early, but he gets his tyre change, and that has just settled him, putting him in third. And Kingspin takes a 3-second penalty there, so that's 6 seconds to his name now. But I don't think Mark's going to be able to catch him in a lap. So we follow on now with Kingspin. It's the final lap of the Grand Prix. And Sharky is going to win, it looks like. Because no matter what Kingspin does now, unless Sharky makes a mistake, this is going to be the final grid order. Ignoring Calver's AI, obviously. And it looks like... So we switch over to Sharky now. Coming through the last couple corners, all he has to do is keep it together now. Coming through the final straight, coming into the last corner now, it might be him taking the first win for Mercedes since Season 1 with Craggy in the past, as he gets really excited here, coming to the line to win the first race of Bahrain in a long time. And that's him winning the race there. So, for the post-race commentary, we have the driver interview. Now, there won't be any audio from the drivers. However, we did get text messages transferred, so we have their official answers here. 3 questions were asked to all 3 drivers, starting with our race winner, Sharky Boy. The first question for him was, how do you feel about being the first winner of Season 2? Sharky responded with, it feels great, especially with it being my first ever win in the DRZ League. So, the next question was, who do you think is going to be a consistent rival throughout the season? His response was, it's hard to tell due to Apple having troubles with his car and not many people racing, but me and my teammate were pretty close, but it's really early, so it's hard to tell. The third and final question I had for Sharky was 3. Which track on this season's calendar do you feel the most confident on? I'm pretty fast around Brazil, Qatar and Britain, but you never know what will happen with some of the faster people like Apple or Kingspin. The next driver to be interviewed would be Kingspin, so we'll go through the questions with him. The questions are pretty much the same, just slightly altered. 1. How does it feel being on the podium for the first race of the season? Good, obviously. I had a little issue, but it's what I get for trusting the car on cold tyres, but it's nice to see how competitive I was during the first race of the season. 2. Who do you think will be a rival throughout the season? It's tough to say because being my first season and few quick drivers such as the likes of Sharky Boy and Apple, so at the moment it wouldn't be able to say really. 3. Which track on this season's calendar do you feel the most confident about? I feel equally confident about 2 tracks, those being Saudi Arabia and Qatar. Those were my best tracks previously. Sorry for the mistake. That concluded Kingspin's interview, and now we go on to the final interview being Mark's. 1. How does it feel being on the podium for the first race of the season? It feels amazing. It's my first race in DRZ League, and I'm glad I could achieve this result. I took a good amount of points that will help the team a lot in the Constructors' Championship. 2. Who do you think will be a rival throughout the season? I think there are a few drivers with similar pace compared to mine. I feel both Mercedes drivers will be the target, although I can't only focus on the Mercs. There are very quick drivers like Kingspin that will enjoy fighting on the track for sure. Which track do you feel the most confident on in this season's calendar? I feel comfortable on Saudi Arabia and Qatar. I'm usually quick around circuits with high speed corners, so I will enjoy racing there for sure.